obnoxious noisemakers. What you will find is that tomorrow when you elect a chair, I'm going to give them the opportunity to choose which variety they would like for obnoxious noisemakers to help bring people back. Next up, I think we're going to actually start diving into the meat of things, and that's actually an overview of where we're at in the management plans. At this point, Lance is prepared to give us an overview, start talking about, I can hear a little echo. Can the folks in the audience, we tried to turn up the mics so you can hear a little bit better. Is that coming through in the back? Okay, good. I apologize if that wasn't as good to begin with. We were messing with some knobs and dials. Any questions from the group before we open this up and I hand it over to Lance? Oh, great. Hi, Brooks. Thanks. There was a little internet glitch, and that messed up the presentation for us for a bit, too. But hopefully everything's working smoothly again, and I appreciate you hanging in there with us on the phone. So, any questions before we jump into the next presentation? I think what we're going to do is provide an overview of the planning process, the plan, where we're at, and then at that same time I'll be recording, any bin items, things that you guys want to make sure that we have on the list for tomorrow's discussion. Lance, Gary, you had something you wanted to say?
Just wanted to clarify one little thing on the cooperating agencies. People smarter than me got to me during the break and talked to me a little bit. So cooperating agencies, the authority for that comes from NEPA, not from the proclamation. Their input is largely in the upfront part where we're developing alternatives, and they do have a non-disclosure component because they're involved. They have access to information that is not generally available to the public at that time, in real time. The MAC, if you read the charter in there, talks about implementation stuff too. So the MAC is going to be able to influence the implementation part of it and be involved in that, whereas the cooperating agencies are not. That's the primary focus is to help develop that, and it comes from NEPA, not FLIPMA or any of the other acronyms that we throw out. So.
Thank you. That's an excellent clarification. Mike.
So I just wanted to follow up with Lee's question about the withdrawal area over on the western portion of it. The Atomic Energy Commission did have a withdrawal area by the eastern or the western portion of the Bears Ears National Monument. That withdrawal was revoked in 1999, so that it's no longer in existence and doesn't have any. It basically shouldn't play any kind of role as far as the discussion today.
Okay, I'm not trying to hide those notes. I just wanted to make sure on a couple of those loose end items that I captured those for our final meeting notes too. So. Anything else? Are you ready to dive right in, Lance?
I am.
All right. I'm going to turn this back over to you then.
Okay. Thank you, Lisa. Appreciate it. So we've got a little more time, which is great, because I think we'll be able to then get into a little more detail and help you through the management plan. I don't have the monument management plan memorized. I'm going to walk you through just a small snippets of some pieces today. But I want to introduce, sitting over here, Becky Doolittle. She's our project planner and has worked heavily in this. And since I don't have this plan memorized, we may defer it to her a couple of times or to some other staff specialists if we need to on some technical questions. One of the things that, before we get going, I was going to just tell you briefly a little bit about myself. I was raised in Wyoming, in Star Valley, Afton, Wyoming. I was raised on a cattle ranch, and I grew up in a family with 3 boys. And Dad constantly said, this ranch will only raise one family. Go get an education. This is hard work. And, ultimately, I guess that's what I chose to do. As I went to school and got my education and started working in range management early on in my career. But I really enjoyed my time in Wyoming and still often go back to the ranch and think of things going on there. Since that time, I've worked in BLM a number of positions. I've seen our land use plan processes through various different stages. I've spent some time in Nevada, working over there in the field office in Tonopah. I've been in Cameron, Wyoming, Rock Springs, Wyoming, and then now here in Utah. I've been in Utah, actually next month it'll be 6 years. And so I've been through several land use planning efforts with the agency. And this process, having a public process, can sometimes be frustrating for the public. And like Ed alluded to, our agencies in the past could have taken 4 or 5 years to complete an environmental impact statement. And we're getting this one done in, it'll be under 2 years. So we're really moving ahead quickly on it. And it's been good. I've appreciated the opportunity and that chance to work with the folks here locally. This is a photo of House on Fire. Many of you have probably heard about it or seen it. It's probably one of the most heavily visited sites inside the monument. It gets a ton of views. We've seen our visitors dramatically increase, not only to this site, but several other sites inside the monument. I had referred to earlier that the environmental impact statement, we started its scoping back in January 2018. We'll go to the next slide, Becky. There you go. Thank you. So this is the planning area. On December 4th, 2017, the Presidential Proclamation 9681 clarified that the monument and the boundaries of the Bears Ears National Monument and the revised Bears Ears National Monument included 2 separate units. They're a little bit harder to see on this map, but just outside the Shashaw unit, you have the Moon House ruin, and then, Mike, where am I at? Right here? Right, Dollhouse. This blurb, I can see it now. I'm too close to the screen. Dollhouse, so outside the Shashaw unit, this is the Shashaw unit here, Comb Ridge, and then those 2 isolated satellite units that are in it. Indian Creek is the northern unit. A couple of things I want to point out at Indian Creek is that there's a significant amount of private lands located in the Indian Creek unit. That's part of the Dugout Ranch, owned by the Nature Conservancy. The ranch is the home of the Canyonlands Research Center as well. And that Canyonlands Research Center was identified, okay, thank you,
Just a little button on it, she worked.
was identified in the proclamation by name.
That working?
Okay.
There you